Hey guys, it's Ken Scott, Senior U.S. Immigration Law Intelligence Analyst with USentrywaiverservices.com, and let's get you cleared to enter the USA. Uh, Today, we're April 12th, no, April 13th, 2024. And I'm not in the office today because today's Sunday, but want to touch about something that to this day, you know, after 20 plus years in this industry, well, actually longer than that, but 20 plus years in this industry, it still astounds me to discover this. And once I tell you the title here, then you'll know what I mean. And the title of the video is U.S. inadmissibility is no joke. Why so many people regret not taking it seriously. I mean, the title speaks for itself. Now, we get some people who come in, they have some outrageous things that they were involved in the past. And guys, I'm gonna have my dinner while I discuss this. Just having baked salmon and EU wine, EU organic wine. I had to take a drink for this one. U.S. inadmissibility is no joke. Guys, that pretty much tells it all. A lot of you guys, especially Canadians, you don't take this stuff as seriously as you should for some reason. Maybe now, I would say, with all the news things in the news regarding Trump, you guys don't take this stuff seriously. And it's too bad. But again, it's slowly shifting towards that. But you need to understand, even as a Canadian citizen, you are still a foreign national. You know, you're not a U.S. citizen, and you don't have a legal right to enter the USA. You enter at the discretion of the officer or the admitting officer, or actually the supervisor, to be honest. So you're not entitled to enter that country. Now, I don't want to hear you guys say about what about the girl that got shackled. You guys, as you guys know, the media has a habit of spinning things, and it's much more to that story than what they put out. That girl had at least two, three immigration violations, and she did some other stuff. So it's more to that story than what the media is putting out. And they're not going to just shackle someone 100% innocent. They're not going to do it. So, and she's not 100% innocent. So some of this blame is on her, some of it. Yeah, it was a little harsh, I agree. But they've done it for 20 plus years. So if you break a relevant offense, then that's what's going, well, that could happen, is what I want to say. It could. But if you don't commit any violations, that's not going to happen. So it's like basic common sense. But see, that's the problem. Because a lot of Canadians didn't take this stuff seriously. So I'm Canadian. I can just go ahead and do what I want and say what I want. No, you can't. You cannot do that at the U.S. border, especially being a foreign national. You guys are in a pipe dream if you think that. You can't do it. What happens is people learn the hard way once they get jammed up like her or these other people. Once they get jammed up, they really, really learn. And it's really too bad. But I think with a lot of Canadians, they have this thing where, so I'm Canadian, I can go down to the border and do this, do that. No, you cannot. You can't do that. They regret it in the end, but that is too late. For example, regarding the title, you go down to the border, they search your phone, and they see pictures of you smoking blunts. Guys, what do you think? Oh, what do you think is going to happen? They look in your phone and see pictures of you smoking blunts. They're going to ask you, do you smoke marijuana? You're kind of stuck there and you say, well, yeah. Well, you got the lifetime ban. And if I'm the officer, I'm going to say to you, so what are you smoking in these videos or in these pictures? You say, oh, I smoke weed. Okay, so you admit you were smoking it, yeah. So in order for you to smoke it, you must have had it in your possession. Like, well, yeah, okay. So you're telling me that you engaged in drug usage and drug possession. It could even be powder, let's just say. And you say, yeah, oh, it's okay. Now, me as the officer, I've got you. because you just admitted to drug use and drug possession. You guys don't understand in the DHS reg or in the immigration code more. So it states essentially in simple terms, whatever relevant convictions you have and whatever you voluntarily admit to. I mean, it's spelled out more, but that's like the simple terms. So what do you expect when you look in your phone and see you doing rails or doing blunts, or they look in your text messages and see uh, Joe, Joe Johns or Joe Johnson looking for dime bags or 20 bags, something like that. And me as the officer, I want to say, why does it say here in your phone that you are selling dime bags? And I'll probably just like try to trick you up as an officer and say, why are you selling dime bags of powder? Or I'll say dime bags of weed. You said, no, it's not weed. Well, what is it then? Oh, that's cocaine. So, oh, okay, cool. You guys don't get that when you start admitting to this stuff, you start digging your hole and you're going to say, well, Ken, what do I do? What do you do? What you do is you make sure there's nothing in that phone that's going to incriminate you. Now, it's text messages, it's WhatsApps, pics, um, I don't know, maybe TikTok if you make TikTok videos or you doing crazy stuff. Um, so kind of those areas they're going to look at. Definitely the images for sure, and the text, and your social media posts. Don't forget that your social media posts as well. So they're going to look at all that stuff in those phones, and then you guys regret going out to that border with a phone full of damaging information. Now, guys, now what do you expect? If you go down to that border and you have all that damaging information, like I just said in your phone, they say, okay, well, we're going to deport you or we're going to arrest you or whatever. And then you just might get shackled. But what do you expect? You're guilty of it because you had it in your phone and you admitted to it. And that's assuming you've never been even charged or convicted. That's a whole different story. So yeah, you're going to regret that because you're going to say, why didn't I use my head? Well, you can't go back in time unless you have the TARDIS, with the Doctor on Doctor Who. If you don't have a TARDIS, you're not going back in time to fix this. So then you got to deal with the consequences. So if you don't want to have regrets for these types of things, you're going to have to utilize some common sense for a lot of this stuff. Now, I'm not going to go in here and do like what some of these lawyers have done, quote unquote lawyers have done, telling you do this, do that. And technically, they can't really say that. And I spoke to CBP about this, and the officer was trying to tell me free speech. I said, no, it's not. I said, and I told him, I said, sir, look up 18 USC, and I think it was 1001. And he didn't. I guess he didn't fancy me quoting the regulations to him. I said, this is all in 18 U under 18 USC, and he didn't know what to say. He said, well, I don't know what to do. I said, that's fine. I mean, and he was a supervisor. He didn't know what to do, but 18 USC covered a lot of this stuff. And you go down to that border, you guys say and do the wrong thing, you're going to have regrets. A lot of it, I hate to say a lot of it, because you guys don't take this border, in a very serious way. You just say, oh, it's just the border. Not that I support what Mr. Trump has done, but from what he's done, he's really made a lot of Canadians like open their eyes. So for that, I mean, that has to be worth something. Maybe not necessarily to people getting jammed up, but for far too long, you guys were way too complacent. And it's not good for the U.S. government or yourself, to be honest. So the bottom line is we can turn this stuff around, most of it. I say 99% of it. But you guys got to take this stuff, look at this stuff in a different light, in a more serious manner. I mean, we get people to come to the office, and our phones are ringing off the hook. And we have so much work right now that in some ways we have too much work and staff shortages. So that's another thing. Even with the border being slow, we are still crazy busy. It's insane. No, I don't know what to really tell you guys. I mean, because a lot of it should be basic common sense. And please stop following the fake news in the media and, in the Canadian media. There's no crises at the U.S. border. They're not going to shackle someone innocent or someone that's done absolutely nothing wrong. They're not going to, yeah, they may search your phone, maybe. I mean, so what? As long as there's nothing in there that's going to hurt you, so what? Who cares? And I saw something about the Canadian snowbirds, and they were complaining that for snowbirds who have to go down, that new rule where you have to register if you're going to be there 30 days or more, that's kind of nothing new because over in Europe, they've been doing things along those lines since when was the EU formed? In what, late 80s, I think, early 90s? That's nothing for them in the EU. There's different rules regarding that, but a lot of this stuff is really nothing new. I mean, the only new thing is it's being enforced now. This stuff's always been on the books. So stop following the fake news. This is one thing I would really want to talk about. Stop following the fake news coming from the Canadian media where they say it's a crisis at the U.S. border. There's no crises there. The only crisis is if you make one, then yeah, then you will have a crisis. If you make the crises, if you don't make the crises, you're squeaky clean. They got nothing they can pin on you at CBP. You're fine. Still go down there, shop, vacation. Yeah, I know the Canadian dollar sucks. I get that. But for some of you guys want to go, most of this is also for the guys who want to go to Vegas, like the boys who, uh, hang out, have fun, whatever. And I'll say like the big players. I'll just say that it's more for like the big players, and they still go to Vegas. They don't give a flying flamingo, and they've told me that they don't care about the quote unquote border crises. There is no crises. The crisis is within yourself. So you guys have got to start utilizing some common sense with this stuff. Stop following the fake news. There's no crisis at that U.S. border unless you make your own crises. And hopefully this stuff will die down soon because you guys really are the ones that suffer in the end because you're missing out on a lot of stuff in USA, the vacations, the trips, the shopping. And I know Canadian dollar sucks. I get it. But you're only hurting yourself listening to the fake news. And even people like I've known for years have called me and said, I said, come on, bro. You know they're not gonna do anything to you. They've got nothing on you. And he said, yeah, you're right. Okay, what are you worried about? I guess I'm the only person in Canada that understands this, but me being a former federal officer and former law enforcement officer that was previously posted in Washington State, just a no-brainer. And a lot of these lawyers, and I'm going to do a video about that. I'm probably going to name some names in that one because I want to do it once I have all the evidence lined up. I can show you guys evidence. A lot of these lawyers, they don't either know what they're doing or they're also purposely stirring the pot just to get business. I'm not going to say any names just yet, but certain lawyers, and I'm going to bring up the evidence on the screen, for example, was saying something to the effect of, oh my God, the sky's falling. They're doing phone searches. Guys, they've been doing phone searches since 2007. And I have proof of it. I've got the actual memos and info from CBP detailing like the searches and like the internal criteria. I've got that stuff. I keep it locked away, but I've got that stuff. So when these lawyers say, oh my God, this is a new thing, this is happening, that's straight bullshit because I've got the memos from '07 when this stuff started. Because it started around about '07, '08, give or take. Now, if they're an immigration lawyer, quote unquote, why the fuck they don't have the same info? And the reason is either they don't know what they're doing or they're also trying to stir the pot to get business. I don't do any of that crap. You guys know me. I'm straight up blunt. I'm there for you guys. I help people. And at times, I don't make a penny for it. I make less than 1 penny for some things. But I don't really care because the fact that I care about you guys. I don't want you guys ripped off or scammed by a discount waiver company or even a lawyer. So, but yeah, so I'm going to start putting together all this stuff to dispel the myth that these lawyers keep pushing. But there is one lawyer, I forget, I don't want to give her any advertising, female. She doesn't seem to do it. But these other ones, especially a certain one, I won't say his name, but a certain one, they keep saying, oh my God, the sky's falling, and trying to get on all these media outlets. I've been trying to get on media outlets to try to like bring like order to all this stuff, all this chaos, and they won't, for some reason, the media won't put me on. They don't want me to bring order to this chaos. They don't want me to like sue you guys, let you guys know the straight truth, the fact that this stuff is not really real. It's a lot of it's fake news. Unless you got something in your background that's going to cause you to get in trouble at CBP. And I tried a lot, but they won't. Well, certain ones will. Take that back. Certain ones will. But like the old school, well, I won't even call it old school, but some of the other networks, they don't want this message to get out. And I know once they see this video, they definitely won't bring me on. But that's fine because we have other methods to get this information out to the public. And we're doing that now. It's getting really successful. People are starting to wake up and say, wait a minute, this is BS. I say, yeah, I've been saying it's BS for the past 90 days. So that part is working actually very well, surprisingly. So it's a little slow, but people are starting to, I guess, pull their heads out of the clouds and say, wait a minute, this is crazy. But you guys got to stop being so manipulated by the mainstream media with the fake news, like Trump says, because a lot of it is fake. So anyway, Ken Scott, Senior U.S. Immigration Law Intelligence Analyst, www.usentryWaiverServices.com, and it's 888-908-3841 or 604-562-8140. And guys, you guys have known me for years. You guys know I'm a straight shooter. There's no BS with me. Let you guys know how it is. Some of you guys don't like it. It's not really my problem, but I'm going to be always straight up and bluntly honest. The fake news people, a lot of these immigration lawyers, they won't do the same thing that I do. And they cannot do the same thing I do because I've got more training than they do and more experience. And I have the resources that they do not have. Again, being a former federal officer, former law enforcement officer, who was previously posted in Washington State, and I've worked for about 4 U.S. government agencies. I had to think for a second there, including the U.S. Department of Defense. That was one of them. So anyway, guys, Ken Scott signing off now. And until next time, have a great life. And again, stop following the fake news and enjoy yourselves. Have a good night.